Oi, what's up everyone? It's Libby, or Flotaro as you might know me. Essentially, JoJo is my favorite comic book series. Araki Hirohiko is probably the number one influence on my art, and the Capcom JoJo fighting game is my favorite fighting game, like number one of all time. So, as a competitive fighting game player, it's really hard not to naturally just want to analyze gameplay footage that you're shown. So I couldn't sit still, and I thought, hey, I'm going to try this out. I've already seen a handful of footage, an analyzing match footage. In particular, you should check out Captain Salty Pete's channel. He's done a bunch, and I just couldn't wait. So we're going to go in on the Battle League Finals Round 1 matches. If you like what I'm doing here, you can stay tuned for more because I'm going to get the game 1 or 2 days after it comes out and essentially just break it wide open. I plan to have combo videos, discovering hidden tech. I'm going to be looking to essentially make this game competitive. If there's any way, if certain characters are overpowered, I'll ban them or certain things. But I'll find some way to make this game competitive. All right, so the first match we have is Diavolo versus Jotaro, and we're going to jump right in. All right, we just had our first note. So right there, Diavolo did his stand-off light, medium, hard chain, and you should note that all of his moves there, the light, the medium, and the hard, were all using Kim Crimson. So that doesn't seem that important right now, but as we'll get to soon when we talk about stand rushes, it might limit Diavolo quite a bit. That attack right there, Todomenda, like the finishing blow, causes the same hit effect as if you remember in the group battles between Wham and Will Zappelli. Wham has this jumping overhead ground bounce punch thing, and it causes the exact same state that does, and Wham was actually able to combo after it. He did a minor juggle in a different juggle state that what you get when you, for example, anti-air someone with a normal, which will cause them to do a little flip. And I will do a more detailed video about what the juggle system and its rules seem to be at a later time. There's actually a bunch of footage that I'll have to like splice together to make it fit. But essentially, it looks like Diavolo will be able to get a minor juggle off of that. Maybe only one move because Jotaro will just fall right through the rest. But at the very least, he definitely can't do a ukemi or quick rise there. So it at least gives Diavolo some time to, plan his offense, set up some okizeme, and just feel good about pressuring the opponent. So there we just saw a Putsun cancel, and it wasn't a very efficient use of it, but it was one nonetheless. So Jotaro did the anti-air Aura Aura into a regular Aura Aura. One thing to note is that he did get bar back, so you still build meter even after using a Putsun cancel. So that's good to note that using Putsun cancels, you should, well, just for damage and for meter's sake, it makes sense to use them on moves that leave the opponent grounded, because it means that you'll be able to do, for example, a chain of normal hits into another special move, which will, A, help you do a lot more damage because you're fitting in a lot more attacks, and you're building back a lot of meter. So Putsun cancels cost a whole bar, so they're not cheap. And what you need to think about when using them to use them efficiently is this going to do more damage than the potential damage from me using a super? Because if they don't, there's really not much justification for doing it. Otherwise, you'll want to use Putsun cancels for making moves safe. So really unsafe moves, like most of the Aura Aura or like rushing moves seem really unsafe. So if someone's blocking it or they dodged it, you can use your bar on a Putsun cancel to, save your ass. And you can even use the Putsun cancel on whiff. In the idol match footage that I'll get to soon, you'll see that she does it a couple times. So Putsun Cancel is very useful not only for damage, but for utility's sake as well. Oh shit, Epitaph! Alright, so Epitaph, essentially until the little timer bar for Diavolo goes away, he will automatically stylish move any of your opponent's moves. Except in the case of if he would be counter hit. So what we just saw there is Jotaro did this command normal, Sagatteru, you're going down. And it hit him, it hit as a counter hit, and it hit Diavolo. So essentially, the opponent, when Diavolo has Epitaph activated, they have to be defensive. You know, they can't really mount an offense on Diavolo, but they can react to some of his attacks. So if your opponent is getting predictable, you can maybe do an Invincible or Dragon Punch style move to counter their attack. But of course, that's a risk. But you're not completely helpless while they have Epitaph activated. It's also important to note that Jotaro has that Sagatteru command normal, which the command forward is down, forward, and hard. It's definitely, well, it looks exactly like a crouching attack, even though he's standing. So it's a crouching attack that hits low, presumably. It looks like it works exactly the same as the move he had in the Capcom JoJo game, which hit low, even though it was standing. This will be very important for his mix-up potential, which we'll also get to in a little bit. Oh man, you're so cool. It looks like that is safe, even though there's that little cutscene. Diavolo seems to start a special move as soon as it ends, so I don't think he's unsafe after the end of Epitaph. So here's Jotaro's throw, and he tries to do Starfinger as Okizeme. The throw that he does is definitely a hard knockdown. There's no way that Diavolo could quick rise out of that. And if you notice, the AI actually doesn't do anything for like half a second. So that means that you probably can use Starfinger on Wake Up and have it work in a mix-up. The AI is just too slow and stupid to do that. This is important because, like in the Capcom JoJo fighting game, it'll allow Jotaro to perform 50-50 mix-ups whenever he has a hard knockdown. So essentially what you'll be doing is you'll plant Starfinger, stand rush it, which unhooks you from your stand so you can move while Star Platinum is doing whatever. And then you'll do either a low attack or a high attack, and then have the Starfinger hit, which will allow you to combo. I'll talk a little bit more about that 50-50 mix-up and all of that at the end of the match, because we'll actually get to see a Starfinger hit, and it's much more important to see how long and how much hit stun the attack does. It'll give you an idea of just what you can do. Oh, it kind of sucks that... So Jotaro has, like, you know, a mix-up option from his throw, but I'm kind of bummed that throws are breakable in this game, considering they do such pitiful damage. It's, like, laughable. And because of that, the neutral game will be a little bit different, because turtling won't be that bad. You won't really fear getting thrown. Turtling is just crouch blocking or you know, staying back and blocking a lot. So when your opponent can't mix you up with an overhead, like if you're blocking low to open you up, then their only option is to throw you because it's unblockable. But throws don't do that much. So I'm kind of disappointed because you can break throws. I feel like they're not that good, except, of course, in the case of a character like Jotaro. So hopefully other characters have some juice to go along with their throws. Alright, Diavolo just did time erasure. Okay, he just did it twice, both times as a counter. And if you remember correctly, there are 3 different versions of the time erasure. He has one as a counter move, so he'll make a stance, and then if the opponent attacks him while he's doing it, he'll enter time erasure mode. Another one is during his dash. If he goes through an attack, because he's kind of blurry for a second, he will go into time erasure. And then his third one, which is the most controversial, and at this juncture seems kind of problematic, is his burst, or a combo breaker. And he can use the time erasure anytime he's being hit for only half of a bar. And originally, based on the Famitsu article, we know that the time erasure mode ends as soon as Diavolo hits a button. So the thinking was that, okay, Diavolo can use this move to break out of your combo, but he's not able to punish you for you attacking him, because as soon as, he hits a button, you can block, because time erasure mode ends. Diavolo is, of course, invincible during time erasure, and things only become normal after Diavolo makes an action, like making an attack. In this instance, Jotaro was doing his stand-on Aura Aura Rush, and then he has a follow-up move, which is just the punch Aura! And he does it, and Diavolo gets hit by it. So what this means is that in that instance, Diavolo was pressing a button because he wanted to attack, which ended time erasure mode, thereby making Diavolo vulnerable to Jotaro's attacks. And since Jotaro's Aura punch was already active, obviously Diavolo got smacked in the face. So that doesn't sound like that much, but I'll decode something. Because of that, we know that Diavolo can press buttons and do attacks before you can recover if you're doing a move that takes a long time to recover. So what this means essentially is that Diavolo can use his burst to break out of combos and hurt you for successfully hurting him. Now this is kind of stupid. It's bad because it only costs a bar for Diavolo to use, and there isn't really any downside for Diavolo using it. There's no way to bait the burst, as, for example, Guilty Gear players would call, where if you predict that they're going to break out of your combo, then you can punish them accordingly. In this, no, there's nothing you can do against Diavolo's burst, because during time erasure, you can't hurt him. So, it's looks bad. I really hope I'm missing some sort of nuance here. And for the record, even though in this instance, Diavolo used the counter version of time erasure, I checked back against the group footage of him fighting people. And when he uses it as the combo breaker, as the burst, it's the same animation and it's the same recovery time for him when he activates the burst. And I was thinking, oh, maybe the burst version will have more recovery time so that you could do attacks that didn't have much recovery, thereby making yourself safe, because he would have to wait, some time to recover while he's doing the burst, and you would be back at neutral, allowing you to block. But that's not the case. It does look like there is some recovery time he has on it, but it's not enough, I think, to be significant. It's not enough for the opponent to feel safe about attacking Diavolo. As it stands, there really isn't much reason to go in on Diavolo, because when you successfully hit him, if he has half a bar, then he will just break out of your combo and then hurt you. It's not like this is an instant win button, but it's just bad. It's just bad opportunity cost, because you are doing the risk to attack him. You successfully execute that risk, and you're rewarded with you getting hurt, and his only cost is half a bar, which really isn't enough. You can, for example, use a putsun cancel to make your move that has a lot of recovery time safe, presumably. But even then, you're trading half a bar for your full bar. So you're using twice as much bar as him just to prevent yourself from getting hurt from an instance where you hurt him. So, oh man, I hope I'm missing something. As it stands, as it seems, Diavolo's burst seems really stupid and bad. But we'll keep going. There's a lot more to see in this footage. So there's Time Erasure. He tried to throw Jotaro. You can break the throw even if you're in Time Erasure. Just something good to know. You saw there that it ended as soon as he attacked. That right there. So Diavolo has King Crimson his stand on, and he did a light, medium, hard chain. As you notice, there was no text or anything when he did the last attack. So it's not a special move. It's not a command normal. And it crumpled Jotaro. So if you look back on the group match footage, with his stand on, Diavolo has two really slow special moves. One of them is a overhead chop, and it's Inochi o Morata. And he also has the gut punch. I forget what the name of it is, but they're both really freaking slow. With this, he'll be able to combo into them. It'll give him, at least some more damage output. So that's something to note. Right there, I mentioned before that one of the ways in which Diavolo can activate Time Erasure is through his dash. If he dodges something between the flash where he appears and reappears, then he'll go into Time Erasure. Right there, it might have just been the distance, but he dashes right into Jotaro's Aura. So it might have been like the Aura might have been too late to activate the Time Erasure, or it might be a distance thing, or it might be that the dashing method is only really effective against projectiles. But it's just something to note that it doesn't seem like the active frames where Diavolo will dodge and cause Time Erasure is very long. Right there, Diavolo's light, medium, hard chain with standoff missed from like really close range. So even though he's using his stand in his normals, they don't have very good range. So just something to keep in mind. Beach Boy! Jotaro knocks him down. Oh yes! Starfinger! So he does Starfinger, and if you didn't notice, it had a ton of hit stop and hit stun on it. So you have like so much time to react. And based on that, I think you'll honestly be able to, with a hard knockdown, you might even be able to do Starfinger, activate Stand Rush, be able to do a jump in, and you can either do a jump in that'll hit high or empty jump, which means you don't hit an attack during the jump and then go low. I'll just explain the Stand Rush mechanic. As we'll see in the idle match footage, which I'll cover soon, hopefully, Stand Rushes cost a fourth of a bar, and they are only available to some special moves for the stand characters with their stand on. For Jotaro, it's Starfinger and him sucking in the air, which causes the opponent to get drawn in. So you'll hit a button and Star Platinum will continue to do his move animation, and then you're able to move around freely as Jotaro. This will let him do a 50-50 mix-up, provided that he'll be able to find some way to hit high. So either if he has an instant overhead jumping move, and that consists of a An aerial normal that you can do low enough to the ground that has enough range that will hit an opponent who's crouching on the way up. So essentially, because of course you can't guard against jumping attacks while you're crouching, you can instant overhead someone by hitting a jumping attack low enough to the ground on your way up. If he's able to do that, he'll be able to activate Starfinger, do the instant overhead, have Starfinger hit, land, continue into a full combo. And that will be awesome. If you can do that, it'll be just like the Capcom game, which I would love. It's looking like he can. Even if he can't do an instant overhead, I think provided you can do stand rush quickly enough in the animation, because Starfinger has quite a lengthy animation, that you can do a jump in attack before the finger hits, then same situation. Really cool stuff. But that brings up another thing. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Diavolo's light, medium, hard with stand off utilized King Crimson in all the moves. So that begs the question, does Diavolo have any stand rush moves? Because if you consider when you're doing a stand rush, obviously you can't use normals that involve your stand. For example, Jotaro's light, medium, hard chain with his stand off, he does a little knee hit, then he throws out a punch, like a backhand, and then Star Platinum punches. So it seems like most characters have normals that don't involve their stand for the stand users, but I don't know about Diavolo. Like, I don't know what he'll be able to do if he stand rushes. Like, if he has specific normals that only come out when he doesn't have King Crimson. It's kind of strange. And if he doesn't have normals like that, then he won't be able to do anything. In which case, he won't be able to use stand rush effectively or whatever. Maybe it's a trade-off for how good his burst is. I don't think it makes up for it. But yeah, that's the first match that I'm going to cover. If there's anything that was confusing or I didn't go into enough detail about, just let me know. I'm happy to explain. Because I'm fighting game community minded or whatever, I'm used to using certain terms. So if there's anything confusing, shoot me a question and I'll get back to you. Thanks to V Epic AGE's channel for this footage. I'm just going to use it to, go through the matches. And hopefully I'll have the next match up soon. Thanks for watching.